All right, so let's dive into AI and relationships.
Okay.
And we're not talking about, robots taking over the world or anything like that.
Right.
We're talking about AI stepping into roles that, were once thought to be exclusively human,
Yeah.
like friends,
Mm-hmm.
confidants,
Okay.
even romantic partners.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
It's fascinating.
pretty wild, really.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating shift. And it's happening now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're seeing real people forming connections with AI that go beyond, just casual interactions.
Exactly. And to understand this shift,
Mm.
we've got a whole stack of sources here.
Okay.
Articles about relationships,
Mm.
technology,
Okay.
psychological insights,
Mm-hmm.
surveys on how Gen Z is viewing this whole trend,
Interesting.
even a peek into a Korean movie that explores this very dynamic.
Wow.
So our mission today is to unpack what's driving this phenomenon,
Okay.
what it means for our understanding of relationships,
All right.
and what the future might hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So first off, AI companionship is already here.
Right.
This isn't some far-off, futuristic concept.
Yeah.
An IFS YouGov survey found that 1% of young adults already have an AI friend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that might sound small, but get this, 10% are open to the idea.
That's really interesting.
So it's more prevalent than we might think.
Yeah, I think so.
And these aren't just, hypothetical scenarios either.
Right.
Companies like Replica are developing emotional support chatbots.
Okay.
And Gatebox is offering holographic companions.
Wow.
I mean, these are real products available today that people are using to form connections.
Yeah, so these are things that are out there right now
Right now.
that people can access.
And then you have things like Harmony by RealDoll.
Okay.
This is an AI-powered humanoid robot
Mm-hmm.
that takes this concept of AI companionship to a whole other level.
Yeah, it definitely blurs the lines.
Yeah, and it really makes you think about where this is all going.
Yeah, where is this all headed?
It certainly does, and it raises a lot of questions.
Like what?
Like, why are people turning to AI for companionship in the first place?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Part of it seems to be the loneliness epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
In a world where social isolation is on the rise, AI is offering a sense of connection,
Right.
even if it's not human.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
It's like AI is stepping in to fill a void.
Mm-hmm.
But is it really that simple?
Well,
I mean, sure, AI is available 24/7.
yeah,
No emotional baggage, always ready to listen.
right.
But there's got to be more to it than just convenience.
Well, you're right. The technology itself is playing a role.
Okay.
Advancements in natural language processing are making these interactions feel much more natural.
Now, for people who aren't familiar, can you just quickly explain what natural language processing is?
Sure. So natural language processing is essentially what allows AI to understand and respond to human language
Okay.
in a more nuanced way.
So it's not just like robotic responses anymore.
Right. It's becoming more sophisticated.
It's more like an actual conversation.
Exactly. And that's what's making AI companionship so compelling for some people.
It's not just about having someone to talk to. It's about having a conversation that feels real.
Right. And that's a key distinction.
Okay, so we've got loneliness,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got the increasing sophistication of the technology itself as factors here.
Yeah.
But before we dive into the potential risks,
Okay.
let's look at some of the potential benefits.
All right.
That same IFS YouGov survey found that almost 17% of young men believe that AI companions could actually help them become better partners in real life.
That's fascinating.
Right.
So they could actually learn from these AI companions and improve their real-life relationships.
It's an interesting idea,
Yeah.
almost like a safe space to practice communication and empathy.
Right. Think about it if you struggle with expressing your feelings or
Mhm.
navigating difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Practicing those skills with an AI could potentially make it easier to do so with a human partner.
So it's like training wheels for real-life relationships.
In a way, yeah.
And then there's also the potential for AI to help people with mental health challenges
Yeah, that's a big one.
by providing a non-judgmental outlet for expression and support.
Right. It's like having a digital companion you can turn to when you need to talk things through without fear of judgment.
Exactly. And that could be particularly helpful for people who struggle with social anxiety
Yeah.
or, find it difficult to open up to others.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so there are some potential benefits to consider.
Mm,
But of course, with any new technology, there are risks as well.
of course.
And with AI relationships, some of those risks are pretty significant.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the biggest concerns is that relying on AI for emotional fulfillment could lead to further social isolation.
Right, because if someone starts preferring the ease and control of an AI relationship
Yeah.
over the complexities of human interaction, it could have a detrimental effect on their ability to form and maintain real-life connections.
It's like anything else, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And
Exactly.
it's not just about isolation. There's also the potential impact on self-esteem.
Yeah, how so?
Well, imagine finding out your partner is more comfortable confiding in their AI companion than in you.
Ouch.
The survey actually found that 15% of Gen Z respondents fear their partner might prefer an AI companion over them.
Wow, that's a real concern.
That's a valid concern, and it raises questions about how this technology might impact our perceptions of ourselves
Mm,
and our relationships.
for sure.
And then there are the ethical questions.
Right.
Can AI truly consent?
Yeah.
Does forming attachments to AI entities diminish our understanding of human connection?
Those are big
I mean,
questions.
even OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
has expressed concerns about what they call anthropomorphization,
Which is...
attributing human-like qualities to non-human things.
Okay.
They worry it could lead to unrealistic expectations
Yeah,
and a decreased need for human interaction,
that makes sense.
a complex issue.
It is.
And it's important to remember that this technology is still in its early stages.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
They're just beginning to understand its potential impact.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about us,
Mm-hmm.
about how we choose to use it,
Yeah.
and the impact it has on our relationships,
Mhm.
our society, our understanding of what it means to be human.
It's a reflection of ourselves in a way.
Exactly.
And, one of the things we're seeing is a clear generational divide when it comes to attitudes towards AI companions.
Okay.
Gen Z, for example, seems to be much more open to the idea than older generations.
Yeah, I mean, 40% of Gen Z respondents said they were comfortable with the concept of AI partners.
That's a huge number.
That's a pretty big number. And it suggests that the way we view relationships and connection is evolving.
Yeah, it's definitely changing.
And it's not just a generational thing.
Right.
Our sources indicate there are also gender differences at play.
Okay. How so?
Men seem to be more open to both AI friendships and romance,
Interesting.
and they're also more likely to view AI partners as the equivalent of pornography.
That's interesting.
Which brings us to another interesting finding from that IFS YouGov survey.
What's that?
They found that heavy porn users are the most open to AI companions.
Wow.
So what does that tell us?
That's a good question.
Are we looking at a future where AI fulfills certain needs that were traditionally met through human interaction?
Yeah.
Is this a sign of a shift in how we view intimacy and connection?
I think it's something to consider.
It's a lot to unpack.
It really is, and these are questions we'll continue to explore as we delve deeper into this topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does make you think about how technology is shaping how we see connection and intimacy.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And it's not just about replacing human interaction either.
Right.
Some argue that AI could actually enhance our relationships.
Okay.
We came across this article on Our Culture that makes a pretty provocative argument.
What's that?
It suggests that maybe the question isn't whether AI can replace real relationships, but how it might actually make them better.
Oh, that's interesting. So how does the article suggest that could happen?
Well, the article argues that interacting with AI companions could actually help people develop better communication skills and emotional intelligence.
Okay, so it's like they're getting practice
Yeah,
with a virtual partner before trying those skills out in real life.
exactly. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
If you're someone who struggles with expressing vulnerability
Right.
or navigating conflict, practicing those skills in a safe, non-judgmental space with an AI
Yeah.
could make it easier to do so with a human partner.
That makes sense. It's like a training ground for real-life relationships.
Right, and it's not just about romantic relationships either.
Oh, okay.
This could apply to friendships, family dynamics, even professional relationships.
Interesting.
Like, imagine using an AI to help you articulate your feelings in a way that your boss or coworker can better understand.
Okay, yeah. So almost like an AI mediator
Yeah,
to help smooth out those rough edges we all experience in our interactions.
exactly. But even with those potential benefits,
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder if there's a risk of setting ourselves up for disappointment.
What do you mean, like, by setting unrealistic expectation?
Exactly.
Okay.
If you get used to an AI companion who always agrees with you, never challenges you,
Right.
is constantly available, it might make the give and take of a human relationship seem even less appealing.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. We can't forget that real relationships are messy,
Yeah.
unpredictable, and require effort.
And there's an article on Medium actually titled, Will AI Girlfriends Replace Women?
Hmm.
This really dives into this potential downside.
Okay.
The author raises some valid concerns about the psychological and societal implications of becoming too reliant on AI for emotional fulfillment.
So basically what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I read that article and it really made me think.
Yeah.
The author talks about how the convenience and control of AI relationships could make it harder for some people to engage in the messiness and unpredictability of real human connection.
Yeah. And I wonder about the impact on our emotional development too.
Yeah.
If we're relying on AI to fulfill our emotional needs, are we missing out on opportunities to develop empathy resilience and the ability to navigate the complexities of human emotions?
The article also raises some important ethical questions.
Like what?
Can an AI truly consent to a relationship? Is it ethical to design AI companions to be submissive and always pleasing?
Okay.
Are we objectifying real people by normalizing the idea of AI companion?
Those are some pretty heavy questions, and it's not just about romantic relationships either, right?
Yeah.
Think about the implications for our understanding of friendship, family, even the basic social contract we have as human beings.
All right, so we've talked about the potential benefits and risks, the ethical considerations,
Yeah.
the potential impact on our social and emotional lives.
Right.
But what about the practical implications?
Right.
How is this technology actually being used in the real world?
Well, there's this interesting article from the Asian News Network
Oh.
that looks at how AI companions are already being integrated into people's lives.
Oh, wow.
They talk about everything from chatbots that offer emotional support to AI dolls designed to help seniors combat loneliness. It even mentions a Korean movie called Wonderland, where a woman creates an AI version of her comatose boyfriend.
I read about that movie. It sounds fascinating, but also a little bit heartbreaking.
It is. It really highlights the emotional power of these technologies and the deep human need for connection. But it also raises a lot of questions about where we draw the line.
Right.
Is it healthy to use technology to recreate or replace lost loved ones?
Yeah.
Could it prevent us from moving on and forming new connections?
That movie really makes you think, and the Asian News Network article also delves into the potential downsides of AI companionship.
Okay.
It talks about the risk of forming unhealthy attachments.
Right.
And becoming too reliant on AI for emotional fulfillment. There's this quote from a psychology professor at Seoul National University
Okay.
that I found particularly thought-provoking.
What did she say?
She said, people can heavily rely on AI to fulfill their social desires without making much effort when the AI hears you out 24/7 and gives you answers you want to hear.
That's a sobering thought.
It is, and it really underscores the importance of personal responsibility.
Yeah.
We can't just blame the technology.
Right.
We have to be mindful of our own motivations and intentions when using AI companions.
It's about using AI to enhance our lives, not to escape from them.
Absolutely, and it's not just about individual choices either.
Right.
There are also bigger societal implications to consider.
Like what?
How is the rise of AI companionship changing the way we view relationships? What are the long-term consequences for social norms and the fabric of human connection?
These are questions that sociologists, anthropologists, philosophers are just beginning to grapple with.
Yeah, and there's an article in Psychology Today titled, How Artificial Intelligence is Reshaping Relationships,
Okay.
that dives into these very questions.
Interesting. What does it say?
Well, it argues that the rise of AI companions is forcing us to confront some fundamental questions
Oh, okay.
about love, connection, and what it means to be in a relationship. And it highlights the need for ongoing research and public dialogue
Yeah.
to navigate this uncharted territory.
We need to be having these conversations.
We do.
Open and honest conversations about the benefits, the risks, the ethical implications of AI companionship.
And these conversations need to happen everywhere,
Everywhere.
not just in academic journals and policy discussions.
Right.
We need to be talking about this with our friends, our families, our children.
Absolutely. It's about educating ourselves and each other about the potential impact of AI on our relationships and our lives.
Yeah.
It's about having those tough conversations and finding a way to move forward in a way that preserves the best of what makes us human.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm left with a mix of fascination, excitement, and a healthy dose of concern. AI companionship is here to stay,
It is.
and it's going to change things in ways we can't even imagine yet.
It's a brave new world, and we're all just trying to figure out how to navigate it.
Yeah, it really is. We're at this point where technology is intersecting with something as fundamental as human connection.
Right.
And it's raising all sorts of questions about what it means to connect to love, what it means to be human in a world that's, increasingly intertwined with AI.
And it really makes you question our assumptions about relationships.
Yeah.
One of the things that stood out to me was the link between social isolation and an openness to AI companionship.
Yeah.
That IFS YouGov survey found that heavy porn users were the most open to AI girlfriends or boyfriends and AI friendships in general.
The curious correlation, right?
Yeah, it is.
It makes you wonder if for some AI companions are filling a need for intimacy and connection that's not being met in their lives.
Right.
And if so, what does that say about the state of human relationships today?
I mean, it's a complex issue,
It is.
and there's not really a simple answer.
No.
But it does highlight the importance of addressing loneliness
Yeah.
and the challenges of forming meaningful connections in a world that can often feel isolating.
You're right. It's not just about romantic relationships either.
Right.
We need to think about the impact of AI on all types of relationships.
Yeah.
How is technology changing the way we communicate with our friends, our families?
Mm-hmm.
How is it affecting our ability to build trust and express affection?
Well, one of the articles we looked at from Forbes suggested that AI companions could actually help people develop better social skills
Okay.
and confidence.
Interesting. So using AI is a sort of stepping stone to stronger human connections.
Right.
But I wonder if there's also a risk of becoming too accustomed to the predictability and control of interacting with an AI. Could that make real-life relationships, with all their complexities and uncertainties, seem even more daunting?
That's a good question, and I think that's the balance we have to find.
Yeah.
How do we harness the potential benefits of AI without losing sight of the value of authentic human connection?
Yeah, I think it comes down to awareness and intention.
Mm-hmm.
Being mindful of how we're using AI
Right.
and making a conscious effort to prioritize real-world interactions.
And I think it also comes down to the messages we're sending to younger generations who are growing up in a world where AI is becoming increasingly integrated into their lives.
If they're seeing AI companions as a normal part of life,
Right.
how will that shape their understanding of relationships, intimacy, the importance of human connection?
Yeah, it's definitely something we need to be talking about, not just with young people, but as a society.
Mm-hmm.
What values do we want to instill in the next generation when it comes to relationships?
Yeah.
How do we help them navigate this new landscape where the lines between the real and the virtual are becoming increasingly blurred?
We can't just shy away from these questions.
No.
We have to engage with them, even if the answers are complex and uncomfortable.
I agree, and I think part of that is modeling healthy relationships ourselves.
Yeah.
Showing young people what it means to connect with others in a meaningful way, to communicate effectively, to navigate conflict constructively.
Because at the end of the day, it's those human connections, those bonds of empathy and shared experience that make life truly rich and meaningful.
Absolutely. And those are connections that no AI, no matter how sophisticated, can ever fully replicate.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI and relationships, I'm left with a sense of wonder, a bit of apprehension, and a renewed appreciation for the power of human connection.
It's a fascinating time to be alive.
It is.
And I think we're only just beginning to understand the profound ways in which AI will shape our lives, our relationships, and our understanding of what it means to be human.
And for our listeners, as you go about your day, take a moment to connect with the people around you, have a real conversation, share a laugh, offer a helping hand. Remind yourself of the beauty and complexity of human interaction. Because in the end, it's those connections, those moments of genuine human connection that make life truly worth living.